Hi. As we learn from Hannah's story, I am reminded of how God made the impossible possible in the life of my husband, Hubert, and I. We're blessed at the moment to have our baby, Michelle, who is 5 months old. Um, the journey, we've been married for 4 years and a couple of months. In our first year of marriage, we then decided to actively start trying for a baby. Little did we know that was going to take a while. Upon trying first year, second year, and it wasn't coming, we decided to seek medical help. Medical examination came out that I had fibroids, stage 4 endometriosis, and a frozen pelvic. So solution wise, we decided to go for surgery. So we had surgery to take out some of the fibroids, sort out endometriosis. The doctors did their best. They were not able to sort everything out because apparently I was bleeding heavily, and to save my life, they had to stop. So, in addition to that, we had fertility treatments, fertility drugs. We tried all sorts. We really did. But nothing came out of it. Every month when my period comes, it's tears upon tears, frustration. But in all of this, there's one thing I can definitely say is we prayed together. We kept praying and trusting God. And we were blessed and fortunate enough to have family and friends who also stood in the gap in prayer for us. And we're also fortunate to have a church family, Shinfield Baptist Church, who also prayed for us as well. Now, in the search or in the wait, I call this our waiting period because this is when we were waiting on God to bless us with the fruit of the womb. So during our waiting period, we also opened a teaching center to help students academically. And I'm a teacher, and I also started doing children's work at church. So it's quite funny because you would have thought when you're trying for a baby, the last thing you want is to have so many children around you. But our world was just surrounded with children. And it also felt like family and friends, everyone was just having babies. That's how it felt during that time. It wasn't an easy time, but we just kept trusting God, just kept trusting God. Now fast forward a year and a couple of months. My period, I did not have my period as expected. Um, yeah, so my period did not come as expected. And if I might say, that year I was really believing in God because we done treatment, and I was really trusting and believing in God that this time, this is my year. This time I was going to be pregnant. This time I was going to have my baby. I had that peace of mind that this was the time and that God was going to make the impossible possible. So when it was time for me to do the test, and I did the pregnancy test on a Sunday morning, and it was negative. My world was, yeah, it felt like my world was over. I was I was broken because I was so convinced that it will be positive, only to find out to be negative. Um, Told my husband Hubert that morning. We did not talk about it. We just went to church. And when we went to church on that particular day, Nathan, a word came out. Nathan, the pastor, spoke in tongues, and a word came out about God going to make the impossible possible in someone's life. You would have thought this is when I would embrace and say, yes, this is me God is talking to. But because I was so full of emotions and I was in my own world and I was broken, I did not I did not even hear it. I did not even realize what was going on. I was just I was just broken. I was just broken. So after the service, um, Hubert and I went to Nathan to pray with us. And during the prayer, I said to Nathan, for me, it was devastating because God had given me the peace to believe that this was it, that He was going to answer my prayer. And every time God gives me peace about something, He always fulfills it. So I just that is that for me, it's not just about having a baby, but it's about questioning my relationship with God and what I've always believed, or the means that I believe He communicates to me. So Nathan prayed for us. We went to the center that same Sunday, and the evening around 6:30, I went back to Oxford Road, bought another pregnancy test. The following day, Monday, was a bank holiday. Um, Hubert, my husband, went to the gym, and I decided, with his permission, um, or not permission, but with him in agreement, I decided to do the test again. So I did the test, and this time, from Sunday being negative, Monday, it was a different story. It was positive. God had made the impossible possible. I screamed and I was so overwhelmed. I just started thanking God. And I called Hubert, gave him the good news. He drove home straight on. And we then made Pastor Nathan aware of what has happened. And yeah, and the rest of the story was the whole pregnancy stage. God looked after us. And the God has made the impossible possible. With all my medical history and all that was said, He's made it possible for us to have our healthy, beautiful daughter. And I am so grateful. I'm so thankful to God for that. And every time we look at God, we thank Him for it. So if there's any encouragement I can give to anyone, is to believe, is to say to the person that, look, no matter what you're going through, God can make the impossible possible, and in His own time, He makes all things beautiful. So during your time of waiting, keep trusting in Him, and you'll be blessed.